If there's anyone in the room that would care to share, we ask that you come and make your sharing while sitting in this chair so that you can speak, where people that are on the call will be able to also participate in your sharing or in your question. And anyone and everyone is invited to do so.
And I would like to share a beautiful experience I had here. The tool that I'm going to take back home and practice on, which will help me a lot more with the meditation practice. The inward and outward that I was not aware of. I think I was living a lot more in an outward boundary, energy field. I was feeling the energy field a lot more before, but I didn't know how to turn that inward. And in Ramana's presence this morning, something clicked, something happened, and it just felt that a lot of energy came in me suddenly. It went from my third eye up to the heart chakra, and then suddenly I was able to cross that boundary of outward and inward, and it was a beautiful experience. It was very beautiful.
Yes, I might say that even though I know that you might want to equate it with the heart chakra, it's not the chakra, it's the hridayam.
Yes.
Okay, it's the sourcing essence, the pure being of the heart, the core of being itself. Okay.
But it was a beautiful experience.
Yes. Happy to have you have that experience. Huh? Thank you for your sharing. All right, anyone else? I might add that anyone who is interested in understanding more deeply and having for yourself the actual experience, which is transcendental awareness of the pure being of the I am that we all are, it prevails here in this company, in this ashram, in this center, and we invite you to avail yourself of it. Come and take our programs. They are highly beneficial for those who are sincerely interested in transforming the quality of their life from a mundane worldliness to that of a spiritual base. Okay? Anyone else?
And my question is to
You pull it up a little closer so they can hear you, okay?
My question is for Ramana. I hear a lot about ego, letting go of your ego. And my question is, what is the difference between ego and self-pride? And in this society, if you let go of your ego, when the society is full of people who has a lot of egos, how do you live with them?
Much more easily. People who are, yes, ego and self-pride are just different names, you might say, for the same thing. The self of the ego is the pride of body-mind identification. It's the mantra. The mantra goes this: I, me, my, mine, I, me, my, mine, I, me, my, mine, I, me, my, mine. That's the mantra. But the mantra of the self is Om. And we discussed it at mealtime, I guess, yesterday, I believe. I don't remember for sure. And Om is the stillness and silence of the universe. pure being. It's peace, true freedom, and joy. The joy of the universe, the joy of God, the freedom that is absolute, not dependent upon anything or anyone. Just feel it right now, this moment. Let go into it. Realize it as your own being, needing nothing, wanting nothing, fulfilled, total, complete. How can you beat that?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your question. See for yourself, it takes thought to have a problem. What is the problem right now if you don't think about it?
Doesn't exist.
No problem whatsoever. Happiness is your natural state. Peace is your natural state. Freedom is your natural state. Thought occurs when you feel that there's something lacking. The sense of lacking is already feeling separate. But are you separate from the source? Can you ever be separate from the source of being itself? Being dwells in us as our very source. It's because we have falsely identified with the body and the mind, living in time and space, that we have incorrectly taken ourselves to be separate from the source. And separateness from the source, or living in a sense of separateness from the source, is the original sin. We can understand, when we do understand what original sin actually means, that anyone living in a sense of separateness from the source is living in sin. It doesn't mean that we're a bad person. It means that we think we're a person. Thinking that we're a person is not bad. It's just incorrect. Can you recall when you were in the days, your school days, when maybe you gave an incorrect answer to a question. The teacher didn't say you were bad. It just said you gave an incorrect answer. Well, when we incorrectly assume that the body is the self that we are, we're living in sin, meaning we're missing the truth. We're not knowing and acting and functioning from the truth. The truth is, God dwells in us as us. Since God dwells in us as us, the very notion that we are a separate individual living our lives as though we knew better than God how to live our lives is itself the cause of our suffering. The fact is, we don't live our lives. Our lives live us. All that is necessary is for us to surrender the false notion that I, a sense of I, am living my life, and recognize that God in us lives our life, and we can realign our life with that which is appropriate, freedom producing, peace producing, and joy producing. That's the simplicity of it. But we must cease thinking and believing that we are living our life. Look how messed up our lives are by our thinking we're living our lives. Bhagavan Ramana says, with this little body, thinking that we are this body, look and see how much havoc we have played on the world, and how much more havoc would we play on the world if we take ourselves to think we're the supreme being. We're not the supreme being in the sense of an entity being the supreme being. We must surrender the notion that we are an entity, a separate individual living in time and space, and allow, through surrender, the higher power to live us. That power that spins the planet on its axis and rotates it around our sun. That power that controls the ebb and flow of the tides. That power that grows your hair, your fingernails, and your toenails. That power. When Jesus said, he who takes thought, can you that take thought give 1 cubit to your height? That's the power. Surrender to that power and allow that power to live you rather than you incorrectly assuming that you are living your life. Thank you for your question.
The thing is about anger. So my question was, how do you handle your anger, and till we reach the stage what we are aiming for through meditation, till that time, how do we handle our anger?
Well, what you have learned this weekend in the process of awakening to awareness is the same process to deal with your anger. Anger occurs in the mind. Anger is due to one's own frustration that has built up. It may appear be from some outer cause, and it may be triggered by some outer cause, but it actually is the frustration that one experiences from abiding in body-mind identification, due to believing oneself to be separate from the source. That frustration of being alienated, or feeling alienating, or feeling cut off, you see, from your own true nature, your own core of being itself. When you inquire and return your attention back into the pure awareness of the self that you are, and just let go and surrender to this peace, the freedom of your own being, then you recognize directly and immediately you can't have anger unless you think that you're angry.
And what do we do of other person when somebody gets angry and we know that they are wrong, of course? How do you handle that?
Well, certainly by not telling them that they're wrong.
Keeping quiet is one answer I found.
By accepting, even while you maybe still are feeling a sense of continued frustration and perhaps still feeling angry, and you know someone else is also angry towards you. The first thing is to accept that wherever they're seeing the situation from, whatever the situation may be that seems to be the cause of the anger between you, that from their point of view, they feel justified in what they feel, just as from your point of view, you feel justified in what you feel. Are you with me?
Mm-hmm.
Do me a favor. You see this mug?
Uh-huh.
Tell me, which side of the mug is the handle on?
Right. My right.
But I see it's on the left.
And yours is right. Yeah, it's my right. That's true.
Now, do you want to argue about it? So you see, each one from his or her own point of view sees it as it is from his or her own point of view. And we are so prone often to get stuck in our particular point of view, get stuck in our position and the point of view that coincides with that position, rather than just releasing our position and our point of view, and then instead of asserting our position and our point of view, ask the other person, please, if you would, tell me what it is that you see that is upsetting you. Would you mind sharing that with me? And if you, instead of asserting a position and a point of view in which the person is likely to take opposition, to feel opposed to what you're asserting, if you were to ask, would you share with me your point of view? Chances are they would be very glad to share their point of view.
Oh, yeah.
And if you continue to ask, well, please explain it to me so I could better understand. And why are you seeing it that way? And sincerely mean it when you ask. And then say, okay, after you have seen it from their point of view, ask, I can now understand where you're coming from. Because if you have understood their point of view, you can understand where they're coming from. And where they're seeing it from is correct to them. You with it?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you can begin to see that it is correct to them, then you might ask, would you mind looking at it from my point of view now that I have looked at it from yours? And chances are they may be willing to. But even if they're not, you accept their position and point of view, because as they're seeing it, to them, that's the way it is.
The funny thing is that sometimes we are saying the same thing, but still arguing and going all over again and again.
Exactly. Exactly.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question.
I would like to expand a little bit on that, because that was very helpful. It was very helpful to me, the practical advice, how to deal with the anger. My question is, could you help me out a little bit more? What if you're in the middle and you have an angry adult and a receiving child, and you're trying to work as a lightning sword? How can you dissolve that situation?
Again, you must start with acceptance of the situation as it is presently presenting itself. What's presently so in the moment as it presents itself is what's so in the moment. What's presently so is what's so. Nothing else is so in the moment. So the first thing we must do is to accept what's so as it is in the moment. If you can accept what's so in the moment as it presently is, then the bind that it seems to have you in will loosen. But if you resist what is presently so in the moment without accepting it, then what you resists persists. You with me?
Yes.
So the first thing is to accept what's so, and then the same thing, could ask questions from both sides. If you're going to be the arbitrator, if you're finding yourself in the middle, then it's necessary that you accept, first, that you're in the middle. Second, that the person on your left sees it one way, and the person on the right sees it another way, and accept that. And ask questions of all parties, and you not take a position. The third Zen patriarch in Buddhism, Susan, says, take no position for or against anything. Can you live without taking a position? Certainly you can. Just be willing to accept what is occurring as it is occurring, the way it is occurring, and then after you've accepted it, if it's still something that you feel that you would like to modify, only then will you be able to really adequately do anything about modifying it. If you don't first accept it as it is. Okay?
And I suppose that would apply for an unwanted arbitrator too.
I'm sorry?
That would apply for an unwanted arbitrator too.
If you're the unwanted arbitrator, yes. All right. We have a little less than 4 minutes. Anyone else?
Ramana,
All right.
this is Jewel.
Oh, who?
It's Jewel.
Okay, Joel.
I have found over the years that when I'm in your presence, that whatever words are spoken, whatever comes up, is always for me. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you and all of the people who have had questions or are sharing today. Thank you and namaste.
Thank you, Joel. I didn't fully hear you. So what you
Well,
said.
whenever she's in your presence, whatever being said is meant for her.
Okay, thank you, Joel. All right. Okay.
Namaste. My name is Purnima from Cary, North Carolina. I don't have a question, but I'm really appreciating what this ashram has offered. And I lived in this country more than I lived in my own country. And when I was growing up, I've been living in a Holy River, Narmada, and we had a lot of ashrams, a lot of rishi munis. And I've been visiting, but that time I have no desire of knowing much in a detail. And now in a Western country, I'm getting all this information. So really, I appreciate your effort. Namaste.
Okay, thank you. All right, I don't know that we have time for another sharing or another question. It looks like even though time is not real, we have to honor it. So as we're all here together, just recognize for yourself your own I am that is, as the very basis of your being. Your I am is even before the thought I am can rise. This pure I am is what Lord Buddha called nirvana. The pure being of the self. Know it in this moment. Feel it as the very core and heart of your own being. Recognize that without it, you are not. For it is you. Remain in it as it forever and be happy. Namaste.
Namaste.